Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 2026 information session for the Accelerator. I am stoked to see a bunch of you flood into the call. We'll kick off in just a minute. I'll just let people figure out their Zoom. If you've not taken part in a webinar before, this is different to a meeting on Zoom or on Teams in that you'll be able to see myself and a couple of awesome other people who work with us in the program. So Kellen Wright from the I2N team and Sam Kirk from the Trailblazer team, and you'll meet them throughout the call as we work through our information session. But you won't be able to turn your camera on or your mic unless invited up to stage. Instead, there is a handy dandy Q&A section on the bottom in the bottom menu of your Zoom screen. So just as a quick primer on how this will work, we're going to talk about a whole bunch of awesome things that we have planned for you in the latter half of this year as part of the I2N Accelerator. But some of that may raise questions. You may think, well, how does that apply to me? Or how do I work this out? Please chuck those questions in the Q&A section of the Zoom call. And you just hit, it's either there, you'll see Q&A, little question mark, or if you hit the more button, that Q&A section will be up. And all of us, Sam, Kellen, and myself, will have that Q&A. I have it open in front of me on my other screen right now. So we'll see your questions come in. Kellen will answer them if she can via text. But we have designated sections as part of this information session to answer those questions. So, quick overview, no camera, no mic, but Q&A section and chat. And feel free to chuck anything you want in the chat. If you have any remarks, if you have a question, chuck it in the Q&A and we'll work through that. All right, that's it for the Zoom primer. Thank you so much again for coming and joining us over lunch. I hope that everyone has a sandwich, a salad, maybe some leftovers from last night in front of them, and they're enjoying that while they learn about all the awesome things that we have planned for 2026 and our Accelerator participants. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land in which we meet today, the Awabakal and the Warramar people, and pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. I do know that there's many people dialing in from all over the shop, all over the place on the east coast of Australia. So if you want to chuck in where you're joining us from, please do. I'm going to get the slides up in just a second, and I'm going to talk through everything there is to talk about when it comes to the I2N Accelerator so that you on the call can put your best foot forward and explain to us, share with us your vision and what you've done so far for a place in our accelerator this year. So give me 1 second to please just get my slides up. And there we go. If I get a thumbs up from anybody in the chat if they can see my slides. Thank you, Kellen. Thank you, David. Appreciate that. So this is the information session. We're going to hit the hour at 1 o'clock and hopefully get through. We will definitely get through everything we have to share about the accelerator and answer all of the questions on the Zoom. So any questions, again, type it in the Q&A section, please. Kellen has just used the chat. That's a great place for remarks, emojis, and anything else you want to chuck in there. But the Q&A where David has posted saying, yep, that is where questions go. So please chuck them in there. If this is the first time that you're engaging the I2N, a little bit about us. Our vision is to make the Hunter and Central Coast regions Australia's best place or best ecosystem for startups. There's a whole bunch of awesome stuff here, and we're harnessing that. Those unique resources, those unique people, a couple of them you'll meet today, and many, many more you'll meet throughout the program, whose primary driver is to support early stage founders like yourself to be successful, to be connected, to knowing what you got to do. Jeff's joining us from Bio. That's awesome. Finland. Thomas, wow, that's wild. It's possibly the most distance that we have on the call. If anyone can beat Finland, which is literally on the other side of the planet, please do. Thank you so much for joining us at whatever hour it might be over in the north of Europe. And our goal is to do that, to develop the entrepreneurial mindsets and enterprise skills of our students, our staff, and our broader community. You may make up one of those to enhance employability prospects. Not everyone's going to be an entrepreneur, and that's A-OK. We can support you in many different ways. We also work with our researchers to translate the awesome research that they do in the lab and out in the field into commercial outcomes, or we call them spin-outs when it's appropriate. And finally, for many of you on the call, you'll be driving new venture creations. We'll be supporting you to do that through scale up success, so startups. So there'll be a number of people, a number of researchers on the call who are spin outs and who take part in the program. And there'll be a number of people on the call who are startups who take part in the program as well. But we've been around for a little while. This is a bit of a vanity metric slide on how we do things, what we've done in the past, and how we've connected with people. So we started actually in 2016, funded through some cornerstone funding from the New South Wales government, who have continued to support us to this day. And we've run in that time, we've effectively beta tested what we can do to support founders through networking events and workshops through business, engaging businesses to understand what they need, how we can help them, and then going out and doing the work of helping them. We've created an online community in the I2N Slack. If anyone wants to ask questions about their venture, the validation of the problem that they're trying to solve, pricing, marketing comms, anything, AI tools that people are using, join the Slack. It's a great place to understand what people are doing and how they're doing it. And then Kellen, who you'll meet on the call, she curates a pool of mentors, a community of mentors whose primary objective, and many of them are on that picture in this in the slide there, whose primary objective is supporting you, early stage founders, to demystify the pathway that you are walking and the solutions that you're building for your customers. They've done it before and they're here to do it again with you. Impact outcomes, where the rubber hits the road for us, are the things that we measure. The number of teams accelerated and incubated, those whom are at Series A at a significant funding level, the revenue they've generated from selling their thing, their service, their hardware solution, all of those things we measure, along with the employees and salaries that they've paid through both the funding that they've raised and the revenue that they've generated, because those salaries and wages fuel new jobs. And we care deeply about new jobs, new, fun, exciting, interesting, challenging jobs that we can create here in the regions for people that you will do and for people like you as well. And then, of course, the amount of students that we engage through career-ready placements, internships, and volunteerism, and then patents filed and researchers engaged as well. Here's a snapshot of just a few of the founders that we've supported over the years in both our mentor program, our cohort-based programs like the Accelerator and Pre-Accelerator, and our incubator program through mentoring and co-working. And where you will be based. You'll be based in two places, actually. You're based here in Honeysuckle, which is where a few of us are based at right now in this call, which is down the main road of Honeysuckle on the corner of Worth Place and Honeysuckle Drive. We are up on the level 3. So much of the program will be delivered both on level 2 and level 3 of the building. And there'll be co-working for the time. If you make it into the program, you will have a desk, your own desk in the co-working space to work at with your team for as long as you need. But you'll also get access to our brand new hub in Gosford at the Gosford Regional Library, which is a beautiful space that houses tens of founders and scale-ups in the offices, runs a whole bunch of events, similar lunch and learns, investor events, grant events, founders sharing the things that work for them, the things that don't work. All that happens, all those awesome interactions happen in both those hubs, and you'll get access to whichever one is more feasible and easier for you to get to, but you can cross over between the two whenever you need. There's some awesome things that I just talked about, but those things don't come about solely off the I2N's work. There are actually a whole bunch of partners, strategic partners and program partners who make this possible. This program literally would not exist in the way that it exists today if it weren't for Lauren and her team at Davies, Collison Cave, who'll be working with each of you as part of the program. But also our program partners. I mentioned the New South Wales government who have supported us since 2016, but we've also got incredibly significant support from Sam and his team at the Trailblazer for recycling and clean energy. And you'll hear from him and all the incredible access to assets and people that you'll get as part of this program and the team at Trailblazer. And also Courtney and her team at the Central Coast Health and Wellbeing Living Lab. They are based in Gosford, just down the road actually from our hub, our innovation hub at Gosford that Kellen's linked in the chat. And you can meet Courtney, her team, and they can connect you to the ecosystem, to the health ecosystem, down in Gosford and across other regions, should you need to, for example, validate your solution. And of course, we wouldn't be an incubator or accelerator without a whole bunch of SaaS perks. Excuse me. There's a whole bunch of perks that you get access to. We open the floodgates so that when the time is right for you, you can access free or heavily subsidized tools that will help your venture move forward. But what we're actually here for really is what's involved in this accelerator program, and is it actually for me? Which I'm assuming it probably is. What I'd like to launch into is a quick video from some founders who have been through our program before in the past, Have a listen to them. They'll talk about their experience, what they've gotten out of it, and then I'll talk a little bit about the actual program and what we're doing.
The last 12 weeks in the Accelerator has been a mixed bag of emotions. It has been overwhelming, exciting, honestly a roller coaster. It's also been magical. To look at where we came when we first started to now, a lot has happened and it's incredible.
Everything about it has been so amazing and informative.
I've really enjoyed everyone that they brought in to teach us things from negotiation to just even the accounting side of things.
We've formed amazing connections with fellow entrepreneurs and investors and other mentors.
I'm just super proud to be part of a movement toward a sustainable future, and meeting other people working in that space is really great. It's really affirming.
Our proudest achievement from the last 12 weeks, gosh, we've managed to do quite a bit. So I think launching our first version of Adios has been amazing.
I've been really proud of you.
I'm really proud of us.
My proudest achievement from the last 12 weeks is building up my pitching skills, starting to talk to investors and bringing in a first signed term sheet for investment for some preliminary work on the company.
Our technology got validated by the university, and also we got potential clients as well. We also outgrown the university lab and moved into our own workshop. So that's a great achievement for us.
One of the greatest things that we've learned about ourselves, particularly being here at I2N and Newcastle, is that we can be ourselves, We can be a married couple, 36 weeks pregnant. For us, it's quite refreshing.
Entrepreneurship can be incredibly isolating, so having a place where the university supports you is incredible.
Got a one university town. They're incredibly networked, provide lots and lots of contacts, and really provide that bridge between researchers, entrepreneurs, the university and community.
You cannot get to connect to such influential and pivotal people if you're just doing it on your own. And I think the uni gives you that greater network and connectivity to the bigger market.
For anyone who wants to dive into entrepreneurship, you just got to do it. And then when you do decide to do it, come and see us at the University of Newcastle. The I2N has so much support on offer, and we're here to help you move from idea generation through to complete and total execution and commercialization journey. We'll do it all. Come see us.
All right. We've heard from some founders who have taken part in our programs in the past. I would do and recognize that Jesse asked an awesome question. I'll get to that very, very soon. But firstly, to demystify some stuff. You are a great fit for our program if your venture is or plans to be HQ'd in the Hunter or Central Coast regions. You are a team of 1 to 3, maybe you're actually more. That's also fine. Your company is pre-Series A, so pre a significant funding round, and you're building an innovative and tech-enabled product or service. You're ambitious and ready to scale. You can fully commit to weekly workshops and coaching sessions that we offer, and you're eager to learn. You're coachable and open to feedback. And finally, of course, you're interested in taking part in one of our all industries, our clean tech or our health tech accelerator streams as part of the accelerator this year. The objectives and what we're trying to achieve and what we will work with you on throughout the program is your customer readiness, making sure that you're testing with customers and understanding the pains and gains that they're after. Your business readiness, understanding your business model, the levers within your business, the financial models, the unit economics, and everything that makes your business tick. The intellectual property I mentioned before, Lauren and her team. So there's a strategy in place that's validated by a professional, i.e. Lauren and her team. Team readiness, there's low dependency on you as the single founder, and there's potentially a committed team member or a set of committed team members who have responsibility and accountability across the venture. Technology readiness, super important. A prototype has been developed by you and demonstrated as a hi-fi lab in a hi-fi lab environment or simulated operational environment. So the point is you've built something, a set of features that work for your end user or your customer, and we can help you test that. And then finally, of course, funding readiness. And I'll talk about bootcamp and the accelerator soon when it comes to investors, but you will be ready, investor ready, to talk to and have very valuable conversations with investors across Australia, and you'll be connected to them should you make it through to bootcamp, which I'll talk about in just a second. So this doesn't happen in a vacuum. There's a whole bunch of work that happens in the background in campaigning and accelerator for applications that's already happened. We are partway through. We're in the first third of the pre-accelerator for this year. And soon On the 1st and 2nd of July, in fact, which is a Wednesday and Thursday, we will go through to boot camp. Boot camp is a place where we invite the top 20 applicants from our applicant pool. So all of you, I'll talk about the application in a second, but hopefully everyone on the call plus a whole bunch of other people will be submitting an application into the accelerator. We will take a cut to the top 20. And in those 2 days at boot camp, those top 20 will join us at Honeysuckle, that building I mentioned before. And now you'll meet with tens of investors across those 2 days. You'll meet with our mentor pool, a bunch of mentors in our mentor pool who want to work with you in the program, want to understand what that relationship can look like. You'll work with the I2N team. You'll work with our commercialization team called Key. You'll work with a whole bunch of people across those 2 days to demystify and challenge the approach that you're taking in a gentle and respectful way, but a challenge nonetheless, so that we can understand what you're trying to do and you can understand the assets, the people, the resources that you'll get access to in the program. But of course, make sure that you understand what's involved in an accelerator program and how you can prepare for the acceleration for everything that happens as part of that program. Then we will take the top 12, up to 12 in the accelerator phase. Will be taken. Usually it's 4 clean tech, four all industries, and 4 health tech across those 3 streams. And then at the end of the program, around November, December, you'll move into the incubator phase, which is where you'll be matched with a team of mentors, and you'll meet with those mentors month on month, and you'll be based from one of our hubs, either in Gosford or in Newcastle. And Kellen, once you make it into the program, Kellen will help you understand what that mentor program looks like and how you can engage with a team of, you'll get a team of mentors attached to your team and how you can engage them over the months with the help of us. But what does the accelerator phase actually involve? So first things first, there is a boot camp. And that boot camp is a filtration event. 2 days, work with investors. They'll ask you a bunch of questions. Sorry, one second. They'll ask you a bunch of questions in scheduled meetings throughout the day, throughout the 2 days. And they'll be looking at you from a set of parameters that we want them to score you on. And I'll talk about those parameters in just a second. It's very simple. But really what they want to also understand is, are you coachable? Have you thought about the adjacencies to your market? How much more value can you create? How much more impact can you create? Who are you as a person, and how are you tethered to the problem or solution? All those things plus so much more. The best part of that is, irrespective of whether you get into the program or not, you begin to create an incredible Rolodex, a list of contacts that you can draw upon in the future, should you make it into the accelerator program, or maybe you're unsuccessful but want to keep tapping people and understanding how you can be better, because maybe you want to take part in our program or another program in the future. So that 2-day boot camp is valuable for so many reasons. It's when people talk about their experience in the accelerator program at the very end, like the video you just saw, many people reflect on boot camp and think about just how much value in that network building that they actually got, and how much value that paid them in the future as they progressed. But of course, we'll also be exposing you to our insanely talented group of facilitators, mentors, coaches, entrepreneur in residence, and industry connectors, whose job is purely to ensure that you have access to the right people at the right time. You have access to a sounding board, an empathetic sounding board, someone who's been there before and can work with you on the problems and help you understand the problems that you face now and will in the future. And of course, warm intro machines, access to people, decision makers who will help influence your go-to-market, maybe, or your product placement, or the way that you communicate the awesome stuff that you do in your venture. There's so many different people that you'll get access to, and they'll talk to you about marketing, branding, sales, pitching, grants and early stage investment companies, leadership, culture and hiring, financial modeling, and so much more through the 13 weeks that you'll work with us in the Accelerator program. That program will take part between Wednesday, the 22nd of July and the 14th of October. I did mention before, boot camp happens on the 1st and 2nd of July, which is a Wednesday and Thursday. So you'll have 3 weeks to make a decision on whether you'll take part in the accelerator program. So there's a bit of a gap in between that. And then the incubator phase. This is where you'll get access to the hub, or more formal access to the hub. You'll get access to a team of mentors who support you, and you'll get access to a number of different resources within the hub. There's a whole bunch of awesome people who call the hub their home. They're there most days of the week, and they can talk to you about IP. They can talk to you about UI, UX. They can talk to you about the AI tools that they're using. They can talk to you about go-to-market, sales, marketing, all that stuff over lunch in our curated lunch and learns every month, in the events that the broader I2N team hold in the building every week. There's so much happening in that building. So for you as a founder to remain connected to a group of people doing awesome things alongside you, it's the best place to be. And that's the 6 months. You get 6 months from December to June of 2027. You get access to all of that free of charge, which, by the way, is also the case for the Accelerator and Bootcamp. None of this is going to financially cost you money, but it will cost you time, and it will cost you concentration and dedication to the program itself, and of course to the venture and team that you're building. What does a day actually look like though in the Accelerator? Typically, it's on a Wednesday. You'll join us from 9 a.m. in the hub, either in the boardroom or in the seminar space. We might do some program onboarding. We might do some comms. We might do some strategy. We might do some financial modeling, and we'll do that until 12, until lunchtime. Over lunch, we might have a founder come in, a later stage founder come in and tell their story. Maybe they've taken part in our program, maybe another program, but they'll definitely have some insights to share with you on what to look out for at the stage that you're at. And then in the PM session in the afternoon, we'll work from 1 until up to 5 o'clock each day. So it's a full day where you'll have another facilitator or the I2N team or one of your coaches come in and talk about it as a subject matter expert, talk about what it is that they know and how you can put that knowledge into use. On top of the day, the Wednesday that you're in with us, there's also time that you have to make throughout the rest of the week to have a 1 hour weekly entrepreneur in residence call with Eric, our entrepreneur in residence. You'll also have to make 1 hour available to have a weekly mentor session with the mentor that we attach to your team throughout the program. And finally, if you're in the clean tech or health tech streams, you'll have to have an hour every 2 to 3 weeks to chat with them specifically about your customer engagement, not so much discovery, but validation about your approach to market and who you need to talk to, who would be helpful for you to know. Maybe a CEO, a CTO, maybe a senior engineer, maybe potentially someone who could potentially give you insight to unlock or unblock an issue that you're having in your go-to-market. The Accelerator is entirely built around getting your product or service out of your brain, out of your computer, out of the lab, and into the hands of people. So that's a lot of the people that you'll be working with will be challenging you to think about how you can do that quickly. But if you lean in, if you take part, you lean in, you trust the process, you can be guaranteed you will experience structured growth and a sharp focus on customer. Customer is everything. You'll be able to leverage the experience of an ambitious cohort, so the other founders around you, which shouldn't be discounted. It's an incredible journey to do this with a bunch of people that are very similar venture stage as you, and the broader community at our hubs across Newcastle and Gosford. You'll progress your venture towards first customer, investment, or next best customer. You'll effectively communicate the product that you're developing. It won't be just in your head and blurt it out. You'll have a great understanding of who you're talking to and what they actually care about and what they want to hear, and how you can impact them, the market, whoever it is with your tech. And finally, those readiness levels that I rattled off earlier, you'll be able to achieve them as part of the accelerator and the incubator phase. But of course, you only get what you put in. You can take part in the day. You can take part in the EIR sessions, your mentor sessions, your industry connector sessions. But if you're not putting those lessons and those insights into practice, you're only going to get so much. You'll learn a whole bunch, but maybe you won't make so much progress. So how you lean in, how you take advantage of the curated group of people that we've put together, will dictate the progress that you'll be able to make in your venture. I can see a whole bunch of questions in the Q&A. Thank you so much for that. If you've got a question now, we'll have another question session pretty soon. But if you've got a question on the tip of your tongue, please call it out. I am now going to answer a bunch of questions that people have asked. Just let me stop the share. There we go, I'm back. So from the top, Trent has asked, can we apply for the accelerator if we weren't part of the pre-accelerator? Of course. There will be a number of people in our pre-accelerator vying for one of those 20 slots to bootcamp, and ultimately one of the 12 slots in the accelerator. There'll be a bunch of people on this call who aren't in the pre-accelerator and want to submit an application. We want to hear from you. There are people who just don't need a pre-accelerator. Maybe they missed the deadline, but there's still work that you can do in the validation of your solution. And we would love to learn about what it is that you're doing and consider your entry into the accelerator. Thank you, Trent. Great question. Sandy has asked, what if you have an idea that you want to patent, yet to approach a patent lawyer for the product search? What security is offered before disclosing concept idea with the I2N? There is a deed that you sign that has an IP disclosure session. You're also talking to Davies, Collison Cave, to a law firm who have been around for more than 100 years. This is their bread and butter. I'm sure you'll be fine talking to Lauren and her team, but you can talk to Lauren about disclosures and security and how they handle your private information. She would love to chat about that with you, actually. And there's also, as part of this program within that deed, there's protections around you as a participant and other participants, coaches, EIRs, everyone else in the program. Good question. IP is important. David, if I have missed out this year, can you advise on what I can do with the I2N to help me get ready for the next year, or anything else to keep momentum rolling, please? Yes, David, of course. There is the I2N Accelerator, pre-accelerator, and accelerator that is ongoing each year. We repeat it each year, and it just gets better and better, bigger and bigger each year. There are ongoing events that we run. For example, Nick on the I2N team ran an event, I believe, on Wednesday and Thursday in Gosford and Newcastle on Gen AI, and specifically Claude, using Claude to validate and do a whole bunch of work alongside you in your venture. There's events like that that happen every other week. There's other programs that we run. We run a program called FLIP, the Female Leadership Innovation Program, which is squarely aimed at female entrepreneurs and female leaders who want to build that muscle and build that expertise in a pre-accelerator like fashion or in a program. There's programs like that. We are developing and we'll be releasing a health tech program very soon where we are building up a space at the John Hunter Hospital for health leaning and health tech entrepreneurs to be based out of and to engaging with clinicians and researchers across our ecosystem in that space. We are in Gosford. There's a whole bunch of activity happening in Gosford with Jax and what she's leading down there, and how she's helping build and contribute to the emerging ecosystem down in Gosford as well. There are always things that are happening all the time. Just do what you're already doing. Come along to the events, come along to the calls, jump in. If you don't make it into the accelerator this year, there is work that you can do and then take part in the program next year. That's happened many, many times over the years. But if you have any other questions, jump into the Slack and ask people what they're doing. Jesse, compared to the pre-accelerator, what makes a team stand out for the accelerator program? Is it deeper customer discovery, stronger founder market fit, early traction, technical defensibility, commitment to the problem, or something else? All of those. We don't expect the team to nail everything, and I'll talk about what those criteria are in a second. But we expect the team to have some sort of expertise from an expert perspective in one area. Maybe they're a cracked team. Maybe they're incredible people. Maybe they have a really unique IP-backed solution. Maybe they have some traction in the market that's very demonstrable and very repeatable. Maybe they have done this before. It's the second time that they're doing this, and they have some understanding and expertise within the startup space. There's a whole bunch of things that we look at, and what makes a good team from the pre-accelerator to the accelerator is really down to how well you know your customer. We gear you up in the pre-accelerator to spend as much time as possible with users and customers in that sales pipeline. It's a whole bunch of different people, especially in health, and we help you to understand what it is that you've got to do effectively to get to market. Again, remember, the accelerator is getting you into market, first customer and next best customer. And so if you can have a deep understanding of those people, you will fare well in the application phase, the bootcamp, and the accelerator. Jarman, is it okay to apply as a solo founder? Of course. We on that slide, it said 1, 2, 3 or more. So we have many solo founders come through our program. Some find co-founders during the program or after or before. It's all things happen. But yes, please join us as a solo founder. Jesse, without sharing confidential details, could you give an example of how I2N has helped a previous startup turn interviews or early interest into a structured pilot? So at least half, usually half of our pre-accelerator participants our pre-accelerator typically makes up half of our accelerator cohort. So by working within the pre-accelerator and connecting you to customer, that's a way that we have in the past made sure that each of those founders has gotten to customer pilot. An example could be, there's some case studies on this. Take a look at Facet MTech and the work that Peter, James, and their team are doing in the ammonia space. They started in the pre-accelerator. That was something that came out of the lab at the university. It was at that point a pure IP play. In the pre-accelerator, they gained a whole bunch of contact with ammonia manufacturing facilities and ammonia manufacturing places, or what's the word, factories who do this, who build the factories to do this. That helped them understand their placement in the market, and it helped them raise. Peter in that video mentioned that he raised capital at the end of the program in week 11 or 12 of the program. he had Main Sequence come on board and Uniseed and give him some investment to continue that on. Those relationships started at bootcamp. And as part of the accelerator, which I haven't talked about, you do a monthly email to a whole bunch of stakeholders who sign on to your venture. Usually they're investors, and some of them are corporates. And those constant updates led to a great relationship between that founder. In health, Jonty last year worked with us on the movement belt, which is just rebranded to something else actually. As part of this program, he wanted to understand what's his pathway to market. Is it a regulatory pathway or is it a wellness pathway? Because he had the option to do both. And so his mentor had done both. She has worked deeply in the health tech space. And so she was able to unlock a whole bunch of conversations for him with people to help them understand what that pathway looks like. Mark, the industry connector for last year, did the same thing. He'd done that day in, day. It was his day job, the regulatory pathway. So he demystified the entire thing and got him in contact with a whole bunch of different companies and investors who can help him to commercialize his health device, his device. And that he started in the pre-accelerator. He was having conversations with other physios. He was having conversations with regulators. And that built him up to get to market very quickly in the program. And you'll meet him, if you make him the program, you meet him at the hub. He's there every other day. I hope that answers your questions. A whole bunch of other ventures that we can talk about. I know you're in the pre-accelerator, so we can talk about that in the pre-accelerator, and you'll meet some of them in the pre-accelerator as well. Camilo, we've got a product already making sales. Is the accelerator only for startups in prototyping stage? No, we have founders who have come in at $500,000 annualized revenue, and made huge steps in increasing that revenue through placements, through positioning, through expansion across either vertical or horizontally, through understanding the customer and unlocking value with the customer in what is the next iteration of their product. We've also got people who come in at idea stage, like Peter, who wasn't even out of the lab, and do some amazing things with the people that we connect you to as part of the program. So we work with the whole gamut of the ecosystem of the life cycle of the startup. However, we just ask that you haven't had a significant capital raise before entering the program. Nev, if my startup is based in the Hunter but consists of 3 founders, of which 2 are in Newcastle and 1 is based, that's fine. It's happened before. Please bring them along. Maybe they can join. I may have mentioned earlier that your mentor and EIR calls will happen typically online. And so they can definitely join into those, but the sessions, the Wednesday sessions are all face to face. Please put in an application. 1 founder has to be in the region. Someone who's anonymous, one of the criteria was identified was related to avoiding over-reliance on an individual. As a bootstrap solo founder startup, I do not have a team or co-founder. Will this have a significant impact on my application? No, it won't. We work with a majority solo founders in this program. It's just that as part of this program, if possible, we would like you to find a co-founder or outsource something or find a way that you can create some ease in your life as a founder, so that you can do the things that matter, which is talking to customers, building products, solving, understanding problems that you can build for. So we will work with you whether you're a solo founder or a team, and we'll work around the things that work for you. Kirsty, considering where my startup sits for the accelerator streams, do need to specify which stream you're applying for. For example, clean tech, but is there crossover where if you apply for one, the specific streams you would? Yes. So I'll jump into the application very, very soon. And show you how that works. But we will consider you for all the streams that you can. Some people can be all industries in clean tech or health tech and all industry like this. We will consider you no matter what, and we'll try and fit you in if we can. No more questions. Let's jump back into the deck. Thank you. Again, we will do that. We will have another Q&A session in a few minutes, but if you have another question, please chuck it into the Q&A. We'll keep an eye on the Q&A and answer any more questions you have. But we are 37 minutes into the call. Let's wrap up in the next 23 minutes. So applicant requirements. This is a repeat of what I talked about before. You're HQ'd in the Hunter or Central Coast. You are 1 to 3 founders. Again, solo founders are fine. Teams are great. Whether you're a solo founder or a team is not going to weigh harshly on your application. You are leveraging tech to deliver a native market product or service. You're unique. Your company is at the pre-Series A. You haven't had a significant capital raise. You're committed and growth-oriented. You're coachable. You can attend the workshops, the office hours, the mentor sessions, the EIR sessions, the industry connector sessions if they're applicable to you. You're open to feedback. You are an Australian PTY Ltd or plan to be if you intend to access the accelerator phase, and you have full ownership of your IP. I'm sure there's questions that will come up on that. Work with us to figure out what that looks like for you. The application process, let's jump in just a second, but effectively we supply to you a PDF of the questions in advance, and I'll show you where they live in just a second so that you can fill out your application well before you have to submit. You can think about the questions that we're asking. And most importantly, the application or the form technology that we use, if you submit halfway through or if you fill it out halfway through, your computer dies, your network stops, the application won't actually save. So we give you the PDF so that you can just add it to a Word doc or a Google Doc and write out your answers in advance of your submission, which is why we do that. And then finally, a recording, a 3 minute, only 3 minutes video addressing the following: who you are, what is the problem you're solving, what is the solution, who are the customers and end users, why your team, and where you see what's your vision for the next 5 years. And you'll submit that via fill out, which is our form technology, which is on the Accelerator page. What does that all mean? Let's take a look, actually. Stop my share, restart my share. So what I'd like to do is show you the Accelerator webpage, actually. So if you go newcastle.edu.au/accelerator, and Kellen has thrown that up in the chat earlier, you'll be brought to this page. This page talks about the program itself, all the other things that I2N do on the left-hand side, and you can skim it over, understand what we do, what's in it for you, watch a video. There's a whole bunch of videos that we have on case studies on our YouTube, but also on our web pages. Why us? Why our partners? How are you going to get access to these things? And then you can click off to the clean tech page, the health tech page, and all industries page, just to understand more deeply what each stream gives you. So you click find out more, and that opens up down here and tells you more deeply about what that actually means for you and what you actually get out of it. But what's most important about this is the application. So we're already having the info session now. Thank you for joining us. This is the button that you press to review the actual application. So when you do that, you will see this PDF that's saved in SharePoint. You can't edit it, but you can click this button here and download it to your device. That way you can start writing out the questions. So it says here, these questions are required with an asterisk. These are the key dates as part of our campaign and our program. These are the questions that we ask, 1 through 40 something. So for first question, which stream are you interested in applying for? From Kirsty's question, we will consider you for all streams that you're applicable for, but you let us know which one you would like to be part of. Then all the demographic, who you are, your name, contact details, LinkedIn profile, where you live, affiliation to the University of Newcastle, and some other demographic info. And then things about your idea or your company or your project. What is it? What's its name? Does it have a website? Do you have a prototype or MVP? What's your TRL? And you can click here to understand what technology readiness levels or TRLs actually are. What's your funding stage? How have you funded things? How did you hear about us? What's your full company mailing address? A whole bunch of stuff that we ask about your team and your venture. And then we look at who you are and who's around you, the problem, the solution, how have you validated things. People who've done this work before will understand how to answer this question. If you have any questions, you can always book a slot with Kellen or myself or another I2N team member to talk about what you can do or how you can answer a question in this form. The people that have this problem and who pays for the problem, an online demo if you have one, your market size, the traction that you've had, the funding that you've raised, if any, patents, non-paying users, paying customers, a whole bunch of questions that we ask about your venture and the state of your venture in time and space right now. And then finally, why would you want to take part in the Accelerator? What motivated you? And what's your 5-year vision? And what are the things that the I2N can help you with right now? And finally, if you've taken part in an I2N program before, what's changed? Tell us, we'd love to know what's changed and how we can help you in that pivot or change. And then share your 3-minute recording. The most important part here is however you record it and however you store it, maybe it's on Drive, maybe it's on YouTube or Dropbox, just ensure that your privacy settings are set to the equivalent of anyone with a link can watch. Oftentimes people upload a video and maybe they'll share it with the I2N at newcastle.edu.au email, or maybe with me, or maybe with Kellen or Eric or someone else. We as a scoring group can't access that video. So please make sure that your sharing settings are anyone with the link may watch. That's the form. That's the website. And if you click apply here, you'll be taken to this SaaS platform called Fill Out. And all of those questions in this PDF are able to be entered here in the form. So for example, the first question is, where you're actually applying for, first name, last name, just as I went through before. So if you have them ready in a document next to you, you can in 15 minutes have this filled out and complete along with your recording. But it's all the info you need is here. But you start here and fill it out, and that's how we capture your application and your intent to apply for the program. I'm going to stop sharing, or I'm going to change my share. So jump back into that, the deep dive. The criteria that we are looking at, that we are assessing teams on, are their unique vision, how you communicate your compelling vision. And in the application, we give you a whole bunch of questions that center around that. How novel is your technology? How unique is it? What's your stack? What are you using? What are you doing? What's your traction? Do you have users? Maybe some revenue. Maybe you've made technical progress in the lab or in the garage. Maybe you've got some customer validation that points to something significant. Or maybe there's a massive improvement that you're creating that people just haven't seen. You can beat the status quo by 10 times or more. You deeply understand the problems that people face and how to solve them. Or maybe your team, you're a second-time founder, you've got significant experience in this space, you have a really unique connection to the problem, or you're just hyper ambitious and nothing will stop you. Key dates. Applications will close on the 7th of June. And after the 7th of June, we will run through our scoring process, and then we'll send out a notification to teams a week and a bit later than that to ask if you would like to join us at bootcamp as one of the 20 shortlisted. And of those 20, on the 1st and 2nd of July, you'll join us at Q at Honeysuckle. And then after that, we'll use the scores provided by experts and investors and make the cut to 12. And the accelerator will take place from late July through to October. Demo night happens 7th of October, and the week after that is the last week of the program. And the incubator phase I spoke about that Callan leads, VMS and the hub, happens December to June of next year. Last bit, we are a university and we take IP seriously. We partner with people who help you with this and help you understand this. But we do need you to know that the University of Newcastle makes no claim over the IP generated by you as a participant as part of the Accelerator program, subject to our university's IP policy and procedure, provided your use of the IP acknowledges that the IP was developed as part of the Accelerator program, unless it is unreasonable to do so. What that means is we won't make a claim on your IP. However, if a team member on your team is an employee or a student of the university, they agree and acknowledge that the ownership of the IP will be in accordance with the IP policy and procedure as amended from time to time. What that means is if you're a student or a researcher who's developed IP as part of your role at the university, the IP policy may kick in. And I'm happy to talk about that with you after this call. There's a whole bunch of people, the whole team that look after this. We can help you understand where you sit. And finally, teams may request the assistance of the uni to commercialize the IP. And if you do, the university is entitled to recover the cost of any assistance. That does not mean your participation in the program. That may mean other things like engagements with researchers through different initiatives through a team. But effectively, taking part in our program does not open you up to the university having any claim on your IP unless you're a student or researcher, in which case it's a conversation with us and we can work out where you stand. But I would love to introduce you to our partners. So Jenny McGee's not with us on the call today, but she leads the team at the CCLL, at the Living Lab. They work with our health tech founders and our founders more in general who want to connect to different stakeholders across the Central Coast, maybe to test, to validate, maybe to connect as potential customers, users, or partners. There's a whole bunch of work that they can do as a network or as a Living Lab with you as a founder. And also Sam, who's on the call with us today, actually, who's the program manager at the Newcastle Institute for Energy and Resources and the trailblazer for recycling and clean energy. It's he and his team who lead Trace and work on all the projects and the support mechanisms that they have for founders like you and other organizations across Australia and our region. I'm going to invite Sam. Please jump up, share your screen, share your camera and your audio, and jump into the call. Quick intro, and let's go through the slides.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Richard. Actually, my very first thing to say is this will be my third year being involved in some way with the Accelerator program. And I can tell you it's always a highlight of the year. It's extremely exciting. And I highly recommend Richard and the team at I2N to anybody and everybody. They are extremely helpful. I'll give you a bit of an intro to Trace and then what's available through the Trace program and what that means for the Accelerator. So firstly, we're part of the Australian Trailblazer program, which is a government initiative to accelerate development of technologies in some key areas. So ours, Trace, recycling and clean energy, we're here to help industry work with universities to try and, as it says there, fast track net zero or sustainable solutions. In a nutshell, there's some big numbers on the next page. Richard, if you can slide through to that. So our mission is a decade's worth of change in 4 years. The Trailblazer program has some really big targets. We do everything from quite large research and development programs through to things like this, sponsoring the Accelerator, where we can see people creating new startups, new technologies that are going to have impact in the local communities and much broader. Everything that we do in Trace is around reducing greenhouse emissions and trying to benefit Australia's economy as a whole. Richard, if you can go to the next slide. So I should update this slide to show the whole team. It's not just me. We have a team of people, mainly from industry, who facilitate the Trace program. So Lena Vestad Hansen there is our business development manager, who, if any of you are interested in the Trace program and connecting, is probably going to be the person you connect with. She comes with experience, background in industry, and particularly some of the tech field. And can help you engage through the program to access university expertise. And then myself, I've also got a tech background. I've come from deep tech, a bit of knowledge in the hydrogen space. And then we've got a team of 5 people behind that as well. We're essentially facilitators to help you connect with the university to solve your challenges. Richard? So this is a pretty generic slide. It's an innovation cycle. I suppose where Trace is positioned is right across that innovation cycle. We are here to support the university and industry to work together through the Clean Tech Accelerator here, through I2N. We have an investment opportunity through we have co-funding for R&D. We support students to come and work with you or academics to work on your challenges. Through to the next slide, Richard. This is really exciting for me personally. We saw this part of the Trace program was some new facilities and capability being built at the University of Newcastle. The first one of those is what we call an advanced prototyping facility, which is essentially a farm of 3D printers and some small scale prototyping. And the other is a modern manufacturing workshop, which is a machine workshop. Now, the reason I've put this up here is because as participants in the Accelerator program, you'll actually get access to these facilities. There is a cost involved. However, the facilities have been set up to support R&D. So this is not like a big commercial thing. This is literally, we've got a technician in there who's here to support, do your prototyping. Anyone who's been through prototyping knows that that can be expensive. These things are here to support that your whole way through. Richard, next slide, please. Oh, that was, the video we can come back through. So for those of you who are part of the Clean Tech Accelerator, if you're successful in coming through, we also have at the end of that up to $20,000 to support an R&D project at the university. So that's where you would engage with an academic to solve a challenge. So maybe you don't have the expertise in a particular area, and we might have an academic who can solve that. We've got some funding there for the people in the Clean Tech stream to access. And then we also have I believe, I'm told, first of its kind in Australia, early stage seed fund set up, which participants will also be able to access. That's in a partnership with Investable and Hampton Capital, which are both venture capital firms. Where it is, it's a co-investment model where Trace actually invests into your startup alongside Investable and Hampton. And it really fills that gap on that early stage investment where, it might be too risky for traditional investment models. So that is something we can provide more information on. And then I think the next slide is just a thank you. If we come on through, my contact details are there. I'm sure that Kellen and Richard will share it through. I look forward to meeting everybody. I'll be along at the bootcamp and the Accelerator. If you've got any questions, please send them through.
Thank you, Sam. Hugely appreciative of your time on the call. Sam did mention that there's some incredible resources, facilities, and people, his team and beyond, that are here for our clean tech founders. So if you're building something in the deep tech space, if you're building something that's hardware related and that's typically hard to do, Sam and his team help you build that, so you're not alone. You have access to people who have done this before, and more importantly, you have access to facilities that can help you build, test, and commercialize this. And they've got some funding there ready for you to leverage should you need access to that space. So if you're a clean tech startup, this is one of the greatest places to get to demystify that process and get that project out of the garage, out of the lab, out of your head, and into a space where you can technically prove out that what you're doing works and it can be manufactured. And there'll be a whole bunch of people as part of that process at the uni and beyond that help you do that. So a massive thank you, Sam, and a massive thank you to the team for supporting the program with the resources that you have and the resources and the facilities that you have giving access to the program participants. This is what we're just about to hit the end of the call. We have about 6 minutes left. This is the part where I ask, do you have any other questions? So I'm going to stop my share and jump into the Q&A. And if anyone has any final questions, I know there's been a whole bunch of stuff put into the chat from Kellen and others. If you have a question, these last few minutes is where you can ask them. Otherwise, we can end the call and I can give you a few more minutes back into your Friday. So any last burning questions that people might have, please chuck them into the Q&A and we'll answer them as they come through. Otherwise, there's an application phase open right now. You can submit your application at any time between now and the 7th of June, before midnight the 7th of June. There's a whole bunch of resources available to you. So if you want to have a chat with Kellen, myself, or another I2N team member about your application, on the Accelerator website, there's an FAQ. You can find a link to book time in our calendars, and ask questions. For example, have I answered this correctly? What about this? Can you take a look at my application? You've said this. What about access to Trace? What about access to CCLL? What about access to the university? I'm a student. I'm a researcher. How do I figure out my IP? All those things we can chat to you about. If we don't know the answer, we will know someone who knows the answer. Sandy's popped in a question. Will the links to the chat be in the coming email? Yeah, the big links that you'll need access to, you'll need as part of this, you'll get access to in a wrap-up email from us. Kirsty, is Trace something they can or should connect with now? Pre-applying for the accelerator? Is it available to people? Reach out to Lena. Email Lena and ask her, give her some context on who you are, what you do, and she will be able to triage you from there and talk to you about what the Trace team can do for you now or later. If you make it into the accelerator program, you will have ample time to engage with Sam and his team more broadly, given that they are significant partners in the program. And then for health tech, just letting you know, health tech is quite broad. So if you go to the health tech page, you'll know that we are looking for founders who are solving problems in the same way that clean tech is solving problems for energy, recycling, for a whole bunch of stuff in there that's quite broad in the clean tech space. Again, go to the clean tech website. Health is the same. It's not just devices. It's not therapeutics. It's actually the whole gamut. Health, wellness, health. There's a whole bunch of different founders who have had platforms that help people understand how to improve their health on a particular dimension. We've had people who have built devices that help people recover from injuries or work through the aging process. We've had a whole bunch of different people bring health innovations. We've had people connect their platform is entirely a connecting platform, a web platform, a SaaS platform that connects people who need health services to the right health provider in a non-judgmental and not opaque way. There's a whole we support founders doing a range of things. And if you dig into those videos on the website of the founders and take a look at what those websites of the founders that have taken part in our programs before, you'll get an understanding of the range of people that we support. It's not just SaaS. It's not just hardware. It's not just devices. It's not just wellness. It's everything that we can. We'll have resources, mentors, people, facilitators, coaches that can help you commercialize, get to market with the invention that you're building, the product that you're building. So I've got some questions in the Q&A and the webinar chat. In the Q&A, it says, is the Accelerator program suitable for solo founders that is at early concept stage? Yes. Put in an application. But make sure if you're at early concept phase, make sure that you've got some validation around that. If that doesn't make sense to you or you don't quite understand what I mean by that, book a time, book a slot in our calendars and have a chat. These slots are 20 minutes, I think, and we'll answer your quick question on what good actually looks like and what helps us make a decision within your application. But solo founders are fine, of course. And then if you're at ID stage, we've had ID stage into the program before, but that ID stage has come with good validation of what they're trying to do. Thomas, just letting everyone know we have about 2 minutes left. So Richard, do you have times only after this month in June? I'll have times at the end of May. Kellen has times within her calendar, and the other I2N team members have times again within the gaps of their calendar. So it's not just me, there's others in the program who can help guide you as well. There we go, Kellen's Calendly. Sandy, thank you. So we're about to wrap up. I want to give a huge shout out to Kellen and Sam who have been on the call helping out, but also to you who have taken time out of your lunch, who have taken time out of your day to hear about how we can support you as early stage founders across our regions. We would love to see your application and we would love to spend the next 6 months working with you in the accelerator and then the 6 months following that in the incubator and then figuring out how you can continue to grow post that. There's a whole bunch of opportunity, resources, facilities, access on offer. Please use it. Take it up. We just want you all to be as successful as possible with the resources that we're put together for you. So it doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost you to put an application. It doesn't cost you to take part in the program. However, we will work with you. We will lean in and we expect you to lean into with your time, expertise, and your willingness to be coached. We are psyched to work with you. So a huge thank you. I'm going to end the call now. Thanks a huge amount to everyone on the call. Any questions, reach out to us on the Slack, but you'll receive an email very soon with the recording and also all of the links that we have shared in the chat. Bye-bye. See you all very soon.